Hello, folks.
Hi, Bill. How are you
Hi,
feeling?
Bill.
Well, I'm 5 weeks into this. The good news is I've had 2 days of no coughing
Oh, that's
after
good.
5 weeks, so I'm starting to recover a little bit here.
Wow. Wow. Well, it's wow is that it's 5 weeks. It's not wow that it's good that you're getting better. That's
Yeah, no. Well, the thing is, I'm still on the doxycycline, so we'll see when this prescription runs out. We'll see if the cough returns or not. That should be
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm,
wow.
mm.
I've been
So
very
that
weak though.
wow. I've been reading quite a bit about long COVID, and they're saying like 15% of the people in our country have long COVID.
Wow, that's a
Really?
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people, and what they're finding is that long COVID lasts at least 18 months,
Wow.
and that it may in fact, and when they're saying 18 months is because that's how long they've been looking at it, and that it actually is
Yeah.
probably going
I,
longer
I,
than that.
we really don't know definitively what I have had, whether it's RSV or low grade pneumonia, but it was certainly a upper respiratory infection
Eh,
of some sort.
Wow.
But again, there's another fellow, Bill DuPont, the dentist.
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, he's retired now, but he's had it as long as he's had it over 4 weeks now. So it's kind of crazy. It's lasted that
Wow,
long.
wow. I
But
wonder
Dick,
if it
I
is.
hear you're going in for surgery again.
No, 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 no. At some point, that they think that I could, that I've got some aortic stenosis, but it's mild, and they have to watch it. But
Yeah.
so in a year they'll do another echocardiogram and see if it's changed, and then they check to see how fast how much they're gonna look at it, and how often they're gonna look at it, and how fast it's moving. But it
Now, do
just
you have an Apple Watch and an Apple phone?
no, I don't.
Because you can do all kind of heart monitoring and heart rhythm monitoring that combination,
Huh,
real time,
huh.
particularly for the
So
AFib situation.
well, that looks like it's gone. So that's a good thing. To the point that I guess on my next visit we're going to talk about whether I need to continue with the blood thinner.
Yeah.
So
Well, you look good. You look good, Dick. You're moving around good, so that's good
I move
news.
around good. I'm just carrying too much weight around. That's my
Yeah.
goal. Is we're going to start getting that fixed. Oh, is that Lee's number down in the corner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we can start. So let us go. Before I forget, let's get the ones I do forget, and that's the meeting minutes of October 24th. Bill, you weren't at that, but Lee, did you look at them?
I did. I couldn't find anything out of place.
Okay, so do you accept them?
Yes, thank you.
I do too, Colleen. Bill, are you
Okay.
abstaining?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, certainly, because I wasn't there. I
Yeah,
can't
but
vote anyway.
you could have read them and say they were terrible
No,
minutes.
no. I didn't look at
Okay,
it.
so we get those done. Um, what we've got only one out of the septic system applications that we have is actually in the state that can be discussed here. Although I did see on an email that Peter LaBarbera sounds like he's going to be at this meeting, and would like to do the design review online. And so I haven't talked to Peter. So my suggestion when we get there is, if he comes, is we just use our offline review. But anyways, we've got the one that is ready is from Paul Sesbeck. spec
Nice.
on lot 5 on Bachelor Street. And that's one of Kid Aldrich's lots. It's the lot that if you're coming from Bachelor Street, from Amherst Street on Bachelor Street, heading east, as you get up to the top of that first hill, you go under the power lines. And this one is, in fact, the lot has part of the power lines on it. And it's mostly cleared now. And you go up, when you leave the road, you go up a little knoll, and then it kind of undulates, but moves down to the pond. It's new construction, 3-bedroom house. It's a complete system. Fee is paid. The review is complete. The lot is mainly cleared. It's about 2.5 acres, a little bigger than that. As I said, it's undulating, sloping down to the pond. I've got said it's to the north, but that's not. It's to the south. It's got sands with shallow to ledge. It's really a ledgy lot. There's a very small area that's suitable for septic system. The issues are the wetlands, very limited area for the SAS, shallow to ledge, the power lines. The easement is on the western edge. The design is for a 1,500 gallon, 2-compartment tank without an outlet filter. There are 3 3-foot by 30 feet by 1.5 foot effective depth terrace trenches. He's got it laid out on the slope. Fill is required. He's at 466 gallons a day is provided versus 440 gallons a day required. The reserve area is provided, and it's between the trenches and adjacent to the trench that's furthest to the north. You've got a 5-foot water table separation. Ballast is not required for the septic tank. The SAS and septic tank separation to the wetlands and wells is more than 100 feet. In fact, the SAS is just at the 100 feet. We should discuss the trench permit requirements and the fill requirements. Paul has done a lot of work to get this thing in, and he's worked with the homeowner, is moved the house around a little bit. They've been talking about trying to maintain trees, and the homeowner's given a lot to let Paul get the system in where it needs to go. So the only thing that I haven't seen that Paul, and he says he's fixed it, that I should have made a note here, is that the well was referenced to a building to be built. So he doesn't have hard lines to that location to the well. And as it turns out, we are going to be talking about that well location a little bit further in the session. Lee and Bill, what do you have to say?
I got a couple of comments, Dick.
Oh, go ahead.
On the geotechnical perspective, it's about a 12-foot high embankment, and I know Paul squeezed it in
Oh,
at
it's
a 1 to.
changed. That's all changed, Bill.
So I have the incorrect plan.
It sounds like if you've got a 12-foot embankment, that was the original plan that is really been reworked.
Okay, well, let me ask Paul then directly. Paul, what is your slope north of the between the pond and the system? Your slope angle was 45 degrees. It was a 1-to-1. What is it now?
It's code required. It's down to 3-to-1.
Okay, oh, that's good then. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we changed everything. We turned the system,
Okay,
parallel with the
okay.
contours.
All right.
And the trenches,
we-
Bill, the trenches are right on top of the 4 holes. So
Okay,
the places that we know about that's where Paul has got the system located.
Okay, Paul, would you be kind enough to put a silt fence between the fill and the pond?
Yep, there is a silt fence now that's already been placed by the homeowner. I don't know
Okay.
exactly what the limits are. If you want me to show it on the plan, I can.
Yeah, can you show it to me in real time? Just hold the plan up to the camera, I'll look at it.
You mean on my plan right now?
Dick, can you put the plan on the screen, please?
I can't do it very, very well, Bill.
You know, we should set this up so we can do share screen.
Yeah. And I can't, I was just gonna say, what Paul could do though, I'll bet he could electronically send it to you right now. He could email it to you. Paul, the same thing you sent to me.
Yeah, let me see if I can share it here.
Okay,
Might be able to. You think a Verizon guy would be able to share this?
Yeah. But
Um,
you might be in trouble because I probably have to let you do that. And I don't know how to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't do that. But Bill, if you want me to shoot you an email with the overall plan, I'd be happy to right now if you give me your address.
yeah, if you'd be so kind, Paul, thank you.
Sure. And what's your address?
Send it to my short one. It's N, the number 1, C is in Charlie, Q is in Quebec at Comcast.net.
Okay.
N1CQ at Comcast.net.
Okay. I will fire that
Thank
right
you.
over.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I am, as I'm flipping through our applications, there's a well permit that uses your drawing, I think,
Okay.
Paul. And I don't know for the well location. I
Okay.
am not sure that it's got the hard dimensions that, in fact, I don't even see it on my pile of things right here. Did you put the hard dimensions onto the well?
I did. I sent it to you the other day and I pulled it off the front pins. So
Okay.
you've got an updated print there and I sent it again just before the meeting. So you should have it again.
Okay, okay. So, Bill,
That was on print 3 that had the 100 scale plan on it.
okay.
Bill, did you see my email?
Not yet. It's still in the ether.
Okay. Looks like it went.
Oh, actually, it was in the spam folder, so that's good.
Oh,
So I'm going to just unclick that and I should be okay.
the thing you
Lee,
looked at.
while Bill is doing that, what comments do you have on it?
I'm just looking at the layout, and it looks as though, from what I can read here on the print, that this is a one location only. There's not much wiggle room, if I'm correct about this.
It's absolutely, you're correct. Paul and I really
So,
worked at getting it into this spot.
Okay, so is the person that did, or proposed person doing the work, how are they going to know that they are right where they need to be on this thing?
Paul, you've now got dimensions to fix pins, to all of this stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we put fixed dimensions and 5 points on the updated plan.
I can see somehow we got in trouble here that it looks like I'm the only one that has seen the updated plan. Colleen, I'm not sure you got a set of updated plans.
I didn't know.
No, I just sent them to you, Dick, that revised set.
Okay, so we've got
Okay, Paul, I'm looking at it now. No, it looks quite, I'm just just incidentally, this Peter Hieronymus, is that Bill Hieronymus's son?
Is he from Amherst?
Yeah, he was a faculty member at the university for years. It might be his son or his grandson, actually.
I believe it's his son.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, you did a nice job with this revision. I just asked that east of or south of the 71 grade, put a silt fence across if you would, please.
Sure. It may already be there, but we can verify that.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'm good with this, Dick.
Okay. Lee, you're in a tough
Yes.
position not seeing what the system now has, Lee, is if you look at the 4 holes that on the drawing that show that they're not great holes, but they're good enough holes. That
Okay.
the 3 trenches sit right on top of those 4 holes and they're terraced. So instead of having that big bank on the south side, it's like a, I don't know, a 3-foot slope or something that's a 1 to 3. He has 3 or 4 feet, I think, to get back to grade, but it's at a 1 to 3 slope. So it's a whole gentle system in there. And he's
Yeah, it's
5 feet.
much more efficient to terrace the trenches rather than a bed. So that saved a lot of fill there. A lot of fill was saved.
Tons. Lee, would you like me to shoot you an email with that latest plan?
Yeah, if you have a chance, or I can grab one from Colleen tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I can shoot it to you right now if you want, or we can hold off. That's all right. Either way.
I'll grab a copy from Colleen. And is the well preliminarily staked at this point, or not so much?
I don't think so. I haven't.
Oh, I
seen it.
didn't see any stakes. So, but Lee, the drawing that you'll get is now got
Yeah.
hard. It's got hard dimensions from the pins.
Okay. All right. So I can find the pins and reference that. That's more than fine.
Lee, I just sent you the document that Paul sent me, so you have it on your computer.
Okay. Perfect.
I had
I'll
not
find it.
given a copy of these plans to Colleen yet either, because I wasn't sure if we were good to go or what we need to do, but I can certainly drop off a whole set of new copies, however many you need.
Yeah, I just, if we're gonna have a new person, I'm guessing, installing here, whoever it may be, and it's a tough site, so I just want everyone to get off on the right foot.
Adair Construction is going to put it in.
Oh, I got your email right there, Bill.
The
So
owner
this-
is also going to be the builder, and he's kind of the project manager, so at least he has a clue of what he's doing.
Good. That's a
So
plus.
this is going to be approved subject to the trench permit, and that trench permit the Board of Health issues, and there's no fee with it. Fill requirement, and now that we're also looking for a siltation fence, Colleen,
Okay.
between the work area and the pond.
Yeah, all right, so we should be fine then, all said and done. It'll just take a little time on site to get acclimated, but it'll be fine.
Okay, so then we're all set. That's approved, Paul.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay,
All right.
our review process is a pain in the neck coming into the meeting. But once all that work is done, instead of going through it here,
We can't do this at a meeting. There was too much back and forth. I think it was well worth it. I loved your suggestions. I had some tough constraints going into it because it was such a tight site and trying to, keep and maintain those trees. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to go. I think it was the best thing. So I appreciate your time. That was
okay.
great.
Have
All
a
right.
good
We'll see
night.
you guys soon.
Thanks.
Take it easy,
Good.
Paul.
Thank you very
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, so let's go with our move through. What first item we've got is the timesheet for Colleen. It's a standard 70-hour. No, yeah, 70 hours for the 2 weeks. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah, I'm good.
Colleen, I am too. That's good.
Okay.
The next item is schedule of payments to the treasurer. If our, this period is $2,330. That comes from $1,530 from Board of Health permits. Then $800 from Board of Health fees. And that's it. And that totals the $2,330. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
I'm good, Dick.
Okay, Colleen, I am too, so that's approved.
Okay.
The next one we have is bills payable. There's just one, it's Stericycle. And that's for the charge pickup. It's $26.68. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
That's fine.
I am too, Colleen, so that's approved.
Okay.
Next one is a renewal for a septic installer's permit for complete septic service. And Colleen, this is for this year. This is not for next year.
Yes,
And it's just a renewal.
it's a renewal. Yes.
Bill and Lee, are we okay with this?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, I approve that. That's fine.
I
Dick.
am too, Colleen, so that's that. The next one is a certificate of compliance for the Rassicot residence at 7 Barton Street. That's the pump system that Josh Fugler installed. Lee, you signed it. So.
Yep.
And Bill, are you okay with this too?
Yeah, that's good.
I am too, Colleen, so let's approve. You can sign off on that.
Okay.
The next one is, this is for a D-box replacement. And it's at 147 Carver Street. It's by Neil Jackson. I'm guessing, Lee, that this is already in. And the Maria Rebello.
I don't remember the name, but yeah, it's in the ground.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think this is one of the, is that the street that goes off to the left when once you get up beyond Shalowski's, there's a.
Yeah, you get into that little complex back there where the properties are all facing Carver on strips of land that go off at 90-degree
Yeah.
angles.
Yeah.
Yep. In the back there, yeah.
Okay. So you're okay with this, Lee?
Yes, thank you.
And Bill, are you okay?
Yeah, this is Gene Galuska's old subdivision.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I know where that is. Yep.
Okay, I am too, Colleen. So we're also,
Okay. I think you jumped over the COC for
Oh,
96 Cold Hill.
right, I have them out of order. Yeah, I've got 96 Cold Hill COC. This one is also a distribution box by Neil Jackson and Drew Powers. That's in on the lots that were Jim McMonagle's lots, right?
Yeah, that's a new house.
That it is a new house.
Yeah.
So why would it need a D-box this quickly?
It just, the concrete was just in marginal to poor condition.
Wow.
Yeah, that is
Besides the
interesting.
box, they were bowing in when you took the cover off, so it was
Wow.
clearly in failure.
Huh,
I wonder,
has
I
to be in
wonder if it
failure.
was just defective at the beginning, because I would guess that if it's something that he was, discharging into his system, that his tank would have been in trouble too.
yeah, that's not Dave, who's the homeowner?
Drew Powers.
Okay, Dave Collette, I think, is next door. Those are two flag lots carved out of McMonigle. You're right, Dick. But
That's
again, that
interesting.
house is I bet you that house is no older than 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I was gonna guess less than 10. It's
Yeah.
strange to see a D-box. So, but you saw it, Lee, and it's
Been-
and
It
it's
must
been
have been
done.
bad from the day one. I mean,
Yeah.
it was green or just poor mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So are you
Well-
okay with this, Bill?
yeah. You know, that's
And
one
I-
argument for plastic D boxes.
I
Yeah, I'm
know,
good.
for sure. When you look at how many go bad, that it seems like we ought to be switching for sure.
Yeah,
And I'm okay too, Colleen, so that's
Okay.
done. We've got, the next one is a well permit at Lot 7 Carver Street, and we've got that one is laid out according to an Alan Weiss approved design. The only thing, Lee, when you get to that one, just be aware that I'm usually careful with these designs. Is Alan is got the well located from 2 pins, one on the, and I'll call it the east and the west side. However, he's only got one dimension, so you've got 2 arcs, and the 2 arcs cross at 2 places. The place that he shows
yeah,
is
that's right.
more
Yeah,
than the 100 feet from the septic tank, which is good, it complies. But if you just walk out there with someone and they take a tape and you don't have anything else on this lot, and you take the tape and you just, swing the 2 arcs, you can be in a spot with that well, Lee, that doesn't comply with our 100-foot separation. So you have to make sure when you swing it, you get, when you were in grammar school and they were
it's like 2
constructing the
zeros of a
purple-
quadratic equation. Exactly, Dick.
yeah. So
It's like
You
the
know,
2
when we-
zeros problem.
yeah. And when you used to construct the perpendicular bisector of an angle or something, you
Yeah.
use that same thing. And
Yeah.
you do those 2 intersections to get your line. But be carefully when you go out there with this drawing that you get the point that's furthest or further away from Carver Street, not the one that's closer to Carver Street.
Okay. I mean, I went out there Sunday, and I went down a couple different drives, which I thought was this, and I had no clue where I was. There was no marking.
Is this
There was
Alan
no-
Katowitz's houses?
No, this is an Alan Weiss design. Alan only uses Bob Sheehan.
Okay,
Yeah, this one is,
so-
this is up past Shalowski, right? This is up on the high area.
Yeah, I mean, I got the print in my truck and it said it was adjacent to 130.
7 Carver. It's 7 Carver?
No, lot 7.
Oh, lot 7. Oh, I have no clue where that is then.
It's up, Bill, if you go up from Lion Street, right? That
Yeah,
where it goes, you go up that hill and you get to a flat place before you come to the big turn that it goes to the Galuska property. So just before you get to that turn on the left side, there are half a dozen lots butting up against the old gravel pit.
Yep.
And that's where this is. So you just have to make sure, Lee, when you do this, that you swing those lines right, or you definitely can put this well. It looks like you could put it 40 feet too close to the septic tank.
Listen, maybe it's smart to have Al Weiss out there, Lee, when you do this. Because
Well,
we
I
don't want to
called
be,
Alan.
we don't want to be in a
Yeah.
pickle where the Board of Health makes a mistake and we end up getting blamed for it.
Right. Well, whoever is developing the property told me Alan staked it. And I couldn't find any pins, or I couldn't find anything up there on Sunday. So I called Alan, or texted him yesterday morning, and he said that he would be glad to meet me there as long as the developer was going to pay him for his time.
Well, well, that's not our concern. We just want it done correctly, and I think
Yeah,
that's
and
the
in
way
this
to do it.
In this particular case, Alan, we approved the drawing, but Alan has got a drawing that could have the well in two different places, and one of them's wrong, using his
Right.
dimensions. And so,
Maybe I can call Colleen tomorrow, and she'll have a phone number for this, the homeowner, Ryan Wag, or his developer. Someone called me. I
That's
took
the
down my
well
phone,
drilling.
I called them.
Yeah.
Or at
what
least
a
get,
good idea, Lee.
or take your iPhone and get on FaceTime with them and show them the landscape while you're out there.
Yeah,
So we can essentially
Yeah.
be there and remotely.
or else just say
Yeah.
that, Lee, that just tell Alan, stake it and have a sign hanging there with his signature, and you'll go look at it.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But I think Bill's
Sure.
right. This just is begging to be in trouble, because if you look, the 100-foot arc that he's got looks like
Yeah.
is within about 5 feet of the tank.
Okay. Let's take a quick walk out there and get that print out of my office.
So
on
are
the
we
wheel
gonna,
as well.
to let this go forward, are we gonna approve this subject to Alan Weiss locating the well?
That's what I recommend, Dick.
Can you support that, Lee?
Well, yeah, especially since he's got two things noted. Let me just grab the copy out of my truck. All right, so there's the proposed well location. Yeah, I see that the arc is, yeah, it's just a few feet away from the tank itself.
Yeah, and if you look at those on that drawing, Lee, you'll see that if you swing those two arcs from those two black points, those arcs will intersect at two places. They've got the place that he's got shown, but if you look at a stretched out, man, it's not a rhombus. I guess it could be a rhombus. Whatever, no, it's not a rhombus. It's close. But if you look, they will also, those two arcs that he's got, he doesn't show the arc. He's got the black point to where the well. If you swing that arm out and do the same thing to the other side, it hits about at the back of the house. There's an intersecting point with those same dimensions.
I got you. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Keith Bradway. Okay. Yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll give Alan a call. I'll have to have him meet me there at some point in time to clarify just what we're going to be doing here, or take what he's got, if he did in fact stake it, and drag it back another 30 odd feet, 40 odd feet to the rear of the property.
Okay, that's right. There's no reason that he can't go further.
Yeah, you can, I don't know the layout, because they didn't do contours that far back. But we can always grab another 30, 40 feet, to the northwest of
Okay,
this piece. Yeah. Okay. But
Next.
yeah, I'll get a hold of Alan anyway.
okay. The next one I have is a well permit for lot 5, Bachelor Street. So this is the lot we were just talking about with Paul. And the only thing that I suggest is that we can approve it subject to Paul getting you the drawing, Lee, with the dimensions to that, to the well.
Right. The email that he sent to Bill, which I pulled up, includes the SAS, but does not include well location on it.
Yeah, he's got another drawing, another sheet. Like, I think it's sheet 3 that has all the dimensions to the SAS and the well, and they're all tied into the pins.
Yeah. I've got sheet 3 in the packet that Colleen dropped off.
Yeah, and it hasn't been upgraded yet. That's one of my criticisms, that my comments was that on mine
Right.
is
Okay.
his note says
get
that the
it. I'll just get Colleen's copy sometime tomorrow.
I don't
And,
have, I don't have a revised, anything revised, so,
so he's got to get them to you,
yeah,
Colleen,
he's
or we
gotta
don't
get them.
move.
So Lee, I don't have the revised either, Lee.
Okay, I'll put it down. And I'm sure he'll send it over before the end of the week.
So we
Yeah.
can approve this subject to getting the dimension drawings. Is that okay?
I believe so.
Are you okay with this, Bill?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay,
Bear in mind, I think the Bowman lot is right next to this. I hope there's no interference between the two lots. So we have to review the Bowman lot in conjunction with this other lot as
no,
well.
they're okay. They're both right at the 100 feet from the water with the wells way up front.
Okay.
Okay, I got you. All right.
So the next, in fact, the Bowman had an approved, it has an approved drawing, I believe.
Yeah, he needs to, I think his design is about to run out or needs to be refreshed.
Yeah, it has. In fact, we've got 2, let's see where we are. Okay, we'll go through the rest of these. We've got, I had a question on the Title Fives, and we've got 96 Cold Hill with Neil Jackson passing, 147 Carver Street with Neil Jackson conditionally passing, but that one ended up getting fixed with the D-box, I think.
That was my
We've-
impression.
And then we've got 22 Carver Street with Alan Weiss passing, 148 Porter Street with Alan Weiss passing, 6 Jacqueline Circle with Neil Jackson passing. Now, of these, before I just say, can we just receive them all? 148 Porter Street that Alan put in. There are 2 of them don't fit either the water table. I guess they all have the 1,000 gallon, 1,500 gallon tanks, but 48 Porter and 6 Jacqueline Circle have water table issues. The 148 Porter, Alan says that the water table is 5 feet plus below the surface of the ground. When you look at the design that was approved, the design is on one of the trenches is like 2.5 feet down in the ground, and the trench has got a 2-foot sidewall. Plus it's got the pea stone and the pipe. So
Well,
it's
here's a
down in
question,
there.
Dick, what was the date of the design?
It was, I think, 97.
Okay, so it was done pursuant to Title V, correct?
Yes, so
All right, so we
I
had a
had-
soil event. Yeah, I'll tell you, I wouldn't argue if they've got a licensed soil evaluator that did the water table call in 97, I would not have a problem with that.
well, I'm gonna give you some better information to help you. Is Colleen was able to dig out the information on lot 6. And they dug down deeper than 10 feet with no model.
Oh,
So, and I think when I look at it, the system didn't go over the holes, and I think at the time of the installation, we made them dig there because we were also concerned about having water table separation. So when you look, and I think Alan sent us all a note saying that after Colleen sent them this information, Alan changed the Title V report to say that it's deeper than 3 feet below the trench, bottom of the trench. So we're okay.
so what information did Alan Weiss review before putting his Title V report together?
I don't know. I think he just said like you did. It was after 90, it was in 97, so someone must have looked. And how he said more than 5 feet, I don't know that he
Well,
dug a
see
hole.
that, yeah, see, instead of making that comment, he should have referred to the original design to show that there was adequate separation at the time of the original design.
Yeah, and now he has. After
Okay,
I
well, that's
told
what I
him,
would have done.
yeah, well, that's what he
Yes,
should have done because that's data versus
right,
winging something.
right, that's right, exactly. I'm guessing the 5 foot, he probably had a hand auger and he drilled down with a hand auger to 5 feet and it came back dry and free of models.
Well, Lee can tell us. I think, Lee, were you at that one?
I was at that one, that bit of, labor did not take place in my presence.
So he didn't look at anything.
I don't know what,
Well, maybe he looked in the basement of the house. Maybe the house had no sump pump and it was dry in the
Well,
basement.
it could be, but the house is up on a hill, so you don't.
Yeah,
But anyways,
Yeah.
the data that we have says that there's plenty of soil, deep soils without water.
all right, well, that's good.
So we're good with this one. The next one is 6 Jacqueline Circle. Neil did that one. And they also don't tell us very much. It's a leach pit that's way down in the ground. And
Yep.
Lee doesn't, Neil didn't have the right supporting data other than this particular site is probably, Bill, I don't know if, do you know where Jacqueline
Well-
Circle is?
Well, it's probably 30 feet above Quenneville Pond.
That's right. And
Well-
it's soil
Yeah,
that
maybe more.
probably has a perk rate of about 2 seconds an inch.
You know, a funny story, that Quenneville Pond breached a few years ago and it mysteriously plugged itself back up. So it is now a pond once again.
You know,
No
Without the-
comment,
without the ability to drain it this time.
no comment.
So on this one, I think the topography here clearly tells you that the water table is way below this system.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
So if that's the
Yeah.
case, my suggestion is that we take all 5 of these and just accept them all.
the only, Jacqueline Circle, footnote is the tank size.
Oh. I
I
didn't
believe
see
it's
that,
1,000.
really. I missed that.
Been, It's been in the ground for a while.
If that's
How
the
long, I
case,
don't know.
if that's the case, then it has to be replaced. Our agreement is that 1,000 gallon has to come out.
I mentioned that,
How many years has it been in the ground? Over 40?
I would,
I don't know
yeah.
if it's been that long, long time. I mean, the concrete is, it's amazingly, thick for the age that it is, but it's undersized according to our,
Yeah, see,
current
that's,
upgrade.
you're right, though. Having that tank so far above the water table, if it was taken care of, the concrete's probably in outstanding condition.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
do
it
have
is.
the only two rules. 1,500 gallons and 3 feet, and if we don't
Yep.
catch them, then. So Colleen, our rule says that the tank has to be replaced with a 1,500 gallon tank.
Okay,
This is a property transfer?
The sale, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that gets done. So the next one is East Street pool complaint. I did go there. And you know what? If you look at the complaint, I don't see that we can do anything about it right now. If the complaint is that the person never took the cover off their pool. And the neighbor says when it rains, they have a frog problem. Now, when it rained this year, probably everybody had frog problems that we had so much rain. But I could understand that you would have a mosquito problem, but how you would say it's a frog problem caused by someone's swimming pool, I don't know. But on top of that,
Is this an in-ground pool?
no,
no,
no. And on top of that, every pool that I looked at all has a cover on it because it's winter time. So for us to go over to somebody's house and say you've got a cover on your pool, what are we going to do? Tell them to take the cover off for the winter? We can't do that.
So where are the frogs living on top of the cover?
I don't even know because if you look between these two houses, there is a row of fir trees or spruce trees that are so dense
Yeah,
that are probably, I'm gonna guess they're 15 feet wide and 40 or 50 feet high. And I don't know how you look across there, but for sure there, if you look to the northeast, there are probably wetlands back in there anyways. Well, in fact, if you looked at this kind of abuts the hill that once you go over that hill on Truby Street, there's a giant wetland that goes from kind of the back of these houses where the brook comes across East Street, and it goes all the way, a huge wetland that goes from there to Taylor Street and up against
oh yeah,
Truby.
yeah, there's a big bog. There's a huge bog out there. I know where that
Yeah.
is.
So to be thinking with all that rain that, and then on the other side, it wraps around, and you've got where the guy is cutting wood.
But Dick, how's a frog problem a health issue?
I don't know.
That's
I
why
don't know.
let's leave these people alone.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation.
And especially if you're talking, how is a swimming pool cover a problem in the wintertime?
Yeah.
With all the rain, the frogs may have actually been beneficial in eating the mosquitoes.
That's
could be.
exactly right. It's exactly right.
So I guess that at best, if the problem is still there next year, it certainly could be a health problem if you've got a 24 or 20-foot or 18-foot diameter puddle of stagnant water that could breed mosquitoes. That certainly could be a health problem, but that's not what it is now.
No, no, I can't see it. And it is, like, again, as you guys pointed out in November, I don't comprehend, what the resolution's supposed to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So then our next one, Colleen gave us a list of fees that would be changed for food service establishments to pay for extra cost of inspections.
Did you talk to Chris Martin about this, Dick?
I did. We're going to get there. Would you like to talk about that first? We can do that. Maybe that's
Whatever.
appropriate. So on health inspector, what Chris has is a number that he would like to be working with, that he's using for the building inspectors. And he's paying those guys $70 an hour. And he would like to stay within that range. But when we look at, when Chris and I talked about it, he recognized that $70 an hour when someone's working, 20 hours a week or something, it's a significant amount of money. But if you look at someone who is doing, let's say, a maximum, when I talked to Lynn, I think Lynn said her biggest year was 85 inspections. So if you look at managing, and I talked to Lynn about this too, that Chris also felt that we could establish things that set minimum pays, like an inspection has to be a minimum of an hour. The other is that to get Lynn into the area that's the $100 range, that you could look at what she does, the prep work that she does before the inspection, the paperwork that she's doing after the inspection, all of that should be billed out at the $70 an hour. So she could, by paying appropriately, we should be able to get Lynn the $100 when she includes all of the background things that she does, and that includes she has to drive places, and that currently we don't include that.
Well, that's right. She gets paid the mileage, but she doesn't get, she doesn't get time, but she gets mileage, correct?
Mhm.
The mileage is whatever, the 40 cents a mile. So
Yeah, it's
So-
not even IRS number, I think it's 57 cents a mile.
So it looked like what Chris was willing to do is to say, keep it within the same $70 and manage it properly, so you're within $70 that he's paying for the building inspector per hour, and let it work like that. And what Chris was going to do is once we accepted that's what we were going to do, and we look at these other fees that we're going to increase, but to keep away from a conflict with our warrant article of $35 an inspection, what Chris was saying is that we would move the payment, since it's an hourly rate, not the inspection rate, that it would come out of the same account that Colleen's salary comes out of. So we wouldn't be paying at an inspection rate, we'd be paying at an hourly rate. And then
But
Chris, once we saw what was going on, Chris would work with the finance committee with us, saying this is an unforeseen expense that is required, that we have to do the inspections, but that we didn't realize that we were gonna hit this expense. And he said we would be able to work that out.
But Dick, would the increase in fees from the vendors, would that money go into this account to offset some of those funds?
No, it turns out that this stuff goes into general fund. But
Oh.
what Chris would be saying is that they would fund this account, but that finance committee would be aware that there were monies that are coming in from the higher fees. But this isn't, we don't get everything that gets covered here. For instance, the housing inspections don't have a fee structure to get that money.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, that's good. That's good information. Thank you.
well, what's important for us is we have to decide, Bill Lee and I and me, we have to decide if we're going to in fact do this and let Lynn know we're going to do it and get her going. I suggested to Lynn that if we did this, we would start it like today, effective immediately if we agreed to it and get it going. But if the three of us don't agree to this, then we're stuck.
So she agreed to do the restaurants and the housing inspections, correct?
She would do that, and she would do restaurants, housing, pool. So all of the things that she's doing now, she would continue doing. What I did tell Lynn is that if to give her, well, she had some suggestion. One suggestion was on our website. If we agreed that we were going to do this, that she would get listed on our website as being our inspector, so people
Right.
know that she's there.
That's right. That's right.
And that I suggested to her that we give her a fixed time at every meeting that she could call in, and let's say we said, gee, every meeting from 10 after 7 till 15 minutes, till 7:15 is Lynn's time. So
Yeah.
she could show up. She wouldn't have to stay for the whole meeting. And if there were no issues, it's fine, then she could leave. But that both Lynn and the board would recognize that she's part of us and she's here every meeting. And she
Okay, Dick,
really liked that.
so to reiterate, is she getting a fixed fee per inspection or is she billing hourly?
She would be billing out at $70 an hour.
Okay.
And that we would have to make the agreements with her, saying, that for instance, that there's a minimum of an hour for an inspection that she can bill out at.
Okay.
And that she would get paid also for the work that's offline.
Yeah. The prep time, the actual inspection, and the disposition, writing up her report.
Right. And so with the goal of saying it's going to average out that if there were 100 total inspections, the fee would be in the neighborhood of $10,000 for 100 inspections by the time, the support work is done.
That's fine.
And we just have to see how it's going to try it out. Lee, what are you're not saying very much.
No, I think we are in the spot where we have to proceed. I don't know if we're going to, and I know it's different, skill sets, but we've got other people in town, you know, the plumbing inspector, the animal inspector, whatever, the electrical inspector. Are we gonna be, getting these other guys upset, or does it not matter? Will they not know it? You know what I mean?
I think they're gonna know it. And I've got a feeling I think what's gonna happen is the market is gonna be setting these prices. That
That's right.
just because we've been working essentially for free, not really free, but that's really a
Pretty
token
close.
number. That to think that everybody else is going to do it is, I think it's a mistake. It's not something that I'll bet the next group that's doing this job are going to do.
I agree, Dick. I agree, believe me.
So if it ends up that public health, I'm guessing that if you go into the city of Springfield, you don't have people working for doing our work that gets done at the end of the year, that whatever our number is, $12,000 or $18,000. I'm going to guess that the cities are paying quite a bit more for this level of support.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like we talked about in the past, what we do collectively, compared to every other town or every other department is, it's almost laughable for how cheap everything is getting done.
Yeah.
Conservation's even less, Dick. We get paid zero.
Yeah.
Literally zero.
Yeah, and if you were paying for a conservation officer, that person's going to have to be paid. And when you look out in the world and it just, some places just look and said, if you wanted a house right now, even a moderate kind of house, your family income has to be whatever it is, 150 grand or 170 grand a year to live in a little house.
Yeah, there
And
was an article in the New York Times the other day about that. It said to afford a normal, an average house in the Boston market area, your household income has to be 200,000 a year.
Yeah. So how in the world can these people, any of us, at 30, even if you were working full time, a 2,000-hour week at $35, at an hour, that's only $70,000 a year.
That's
And-
right.
And it's going to be an issue. I think people are just going to, especially when you look at the grief that you get for being involved with public health. So I guess, Lee, in answer to your comment, I think we're so crazily underpaid on everything that we're doing in the Board of Health, that that the other people that as Chris has seen, just to take part-time people for the house, for a building inspector, is costing them $70 an hour.
That's the going wage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The winds of change.
Yeah. Welcome to the new world.
So in our case, when you look at taking someone like Lynn and getting her expertise and saying she's filling the void we need for $10,000, is, again,
That's
it's
pretty-
a crazy low number.
That's pretty cheap. Yes, indeed.
And I can't, when I talked to Lynn about it, about the form that Colleen and Lee filled out for Meredith, I said, you know, Lynn, the bottom line is that we can fix this right now for a little bit. We can work on it, but in reality, to think that Lynn is going to be doing this for the long run, she's not. She's going to be moving on just like Ernie Matthew did, that moved from town to town as these different towns offer more and more money and Lynn looks for more and more responsibility. She's going to be saying $10,000 is just not worth any part of this grief she goes through to be thinking that $10,000, she's going to just say, I'd rather be with my kids and make a good income someplace else. And I said, in the long run, I don't think you're going to be here with us. And she agreed.
Right.
Okay,
agree.
moving on, Dick.
Okay, so that's the answer to that. So we said, Colleen, is that we are going to tell Lynn that we'll do the $70 an hour, and we'll be paying for her support work at that rate as well. And that we'll look at establishing a minimum hourly rate of an hour for an inspection. And let's see how it works. And we'll put Lynn, once we get Lynn's commitment that she's agreeing to this, we'll get her on our website, her name on our website.
Mhm.
And we'll establish, let's say 10 after 7 to 7:15 at every meeting will be Lynn's time. And we'll have the discipline to not have her wait.
Mhm. So do you want, are you gonna talk to her? Do you want a
Yeah, I'm
letter?
gonna have to talk to her and make sure
Okay.
that she's still on board
Yeah,
before we
yeah. Yep.
implement this.
Sure, okay,
So I'll
Sounds
do
good.
that.
perfect.
So now if we go back to the fees, what Colleen suggested is that and Colleen looked at this as assuming there was gonna be $100 an inspection fee. So she said the food establishment under 25 seats currently is 150, would go to 200. Food establishments over 25 seats would go from 200 to 250. Colleen, was that just to bump it up?
Well, yeah, because if you go up with one, which I figured you might have to, then yeah, the other one is usually more
Yeah.
than,
So
Yeah.
should the above 25 seats go to 300, so it's a multiple of the 100?
Mhm.
That's what I would do. It's the uniform escalation factor.
Okay.
300, okay.
And she said after 2 inspections, each additional inspections, 100 would stay. Catering license would stay at 100. Frozen dessert license would go from 25 to 100. Mobile food would stay 100. Milk and ice cream would go from 25 to 50.
I mean,
Is
usually they
that
have other
because it
permits.
always goes with frozen dessert?
There's usually, they always have other permits, so I didn't know if you wanted to make that big of a jump for just the milk, but
Yeah,
there's usually other permits with that.
yep. So residential kitchen would go from 50 to 100. Retail food sales would stay at 100. Temporary one-day event is nonprofits only. Temporary food service would go from 75 to 100. And tobacco licenses stay 100, 200. So not giant jumps. Bill, what are you thinking?
Oh, those numbers are all reasonable. And again, the bottom line is we want to try to self-fund this through our fees and not put the general taxpayer at risk on this. We're going to try to fund it internally.
Lee, what is your thought?
No, I agree with, Bill's comment. and, the work that Colleen put into this. My only, mild concern, moving the clock ahead fast, is, not so much the Charter Day activity, but, just to bring up, and this isn't for tonight's discussion, the ongoing water issue at that event. We seem to recycle around that same issue, and I don't know if it's gonna be fair to stick Lynn in the middle of that, or whoever
Yeah,
would direct that, because it's always last minute.
maybe we can,
But, yeah.
Colleen, maybe you can put that water at Charter Day. Maybe we can look at that at not the next meeting, the meeting after that. And maybe
Okay,
deal with the selectmen and say, you know, guys, you should have a permanent water system that's buried in the ground, that instead of having hoses and everything, and set up or do something.
okay. Okay. Tobacco, I know tobacco went up a lot the last time, but I didn't know if you wanted to go up any more with tobacco or not.
The tobacco, that's, it's not state mandated. Or is it that it has to be inspected 2 times a year? Or is that in conjunction with the, tobacco control program, who is inspecting and leveling the fees and fines for those shops that are misbehaving?
Yeah, they do the inspections, I guess, yeah.
They do the inspections, but as you said that, Lee, I'm thinking about how many times we've told Lynn to go in and check something. When they say, geez, this guy is selling flavored tobaccos, or that she ends up being our front person.
Does the initial, and then tips us to an issue.
Yeah,
So when tobacco control inspects, the town doesn't pay anything. However, if Lynn has to go back 2-3 times per occurrence, then we're going to be quickly in the negative here.
right.
On that same note, Colleen, how's our friend at Union Mart doing with his fines?
Yes, he has given all the checks dated for the end of each month. So yeah, in fact, one got sent in with this money turnover now because it was the end of them. Yeah, because for the October one, that went in this time. So I have a couple more checks.
Okay.
What would be I would see 2 different choices. I would see raising it, well, 3 different. One is don't do it. But I understand where Colleen's question's coming from and where Lee's talking about, but I would see a number of 300 or 500. And so we've got do nothing, raise it to 300, raise it to 500. For something that's not a good thing to be doing. And I don't, maybe the number really should be a big number. Lee and Bill, what are your thoughts?
What is the current fee?
200,
So it'd be going from 2 to 3 or 2 to 5.
or nothing, or don't move it to anything. You know, any further.
Is the 200, some number that represents our surrounding, cities and towns?
Yeah, it's around there. Some are more, some are 300. I don't know if any are 500. But yeah, I'd have to look at my chart. I do have an Excel sheet on this, with the surrounding towns. But I just don't recall what exactly they were charging. They're all at least 200, so.
Okay.
Do we
So if
want
we
to,
went to, we did 250, 300, then we'd be in range with what everyone's got going on right now anyway.
Yeah, I
do we
wouldn't,
want to take,
So-
do
I
we,
wouldn't be the outlier on this. So if Amherst is 300, we'll go with 300, but if Amherst is 300, going to 500 is kind of over the top.
I could support that view.
Yeah.
What I'm suggesting, do we take all the work that Colleen's done here and say, okay, those were fixed. We agree, except for the food establishment over 25, we go to 300, not 250. But the rest, what Colleen says, and not make the decision on tobacco until Colleen can get us the spreadsheet. And at the next meeting, we decide what we're gonna do with tobacco.
Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's probably the best solution, Dick. Let
Yeah.
it marinate for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and let's
Until we
see what it is, because
Get
I
numbers.
agree with what Bill is saying, but if everybody else is already at 500 or close to it, that would be different, but I don't know. I have no idea. And I hate to make a decision based on lack of information. Okay, Colleen, that's what we'll do
Right.
then. We all agree. with
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so we
maybe
did-
going forward, depending on the numbers, then the shops could be reminded that after so many trips back for the same complaint, they're going to be charged accordingly every time the inspector walks in, because at that point, it's the inspector's responsibility to straighten out the mess. It's the shop owner.
Yeah, maybe that what we should talk about is that the tobacco license falls under the same reinspection cost as the food service establishments do. That if you have to go back in, then you're gonna get charged.
Yeah, I mean, that, hopefully that would instill people to stick with the straight and narrow
Yeah,
and realize that if they keep playing these repetitive games, which they can do, but they're going to be charged accordingly.
okay. So that's what we're gonna do for this week. The next meeting, Colleen, if you can, or before that, let us see what everybody else is doing for
Yes.
fees and we'll do it.
Okay. Yep.
Now, our next item is alphabet soup childcare letter for water plan. Now, do I understand this correct? Is that all they want, that Bobby Russo wants, is for us to reissue this letter?
Yes, and to state that it's valid indefinitely as far as that, her plan. So they will always be using the bottled water. I think that's what she wanted.
As it turns out, Bill, I don't know, Lee, I don't know what your thoughts, but I hate to put letters out that's saying forever you can do this.
I would agree that it's not probably in our best interest to say
No.
forever about anything.
Now, this one said, at your request, the Granby Board of Health discussed your plan to use individual bottled water for consumption at your 55 Taylor Street location at their July 7th, 2020 meeting. They voted to approve the plan. So at this point, have we seen the plan we're talking about? I'm going to put it a different way. At this point, I haven't seen the plan that I would be voting on.
I don't believe that information was shared with any of the board members that I was aware of. Speaking for myself, I don't know what the
Bill, what have,
hidden agenda is here.
Dick, I'm totally uneducated on this whole matter, so I can't really opine.
so at
I have
least
no
you,
idea what's going on here.
so at least you can say you don't know what the plan is.
I don't even, what's this gentleman asking for?
Well, it's Bobby is a woman, not a gentleman, but she runs a daycare facility. In fact, two daycare facilities, I think.
Okay,
But this one on Taylor Street had a problem, as I recall, with not having a well that met standards or didn't want to be a public water supply. There's something that went on that said, gee, you can't drink the water in the house. And so we'd like to supply bottled water. But the fact that you don't understand it, that I don't recall the details around it, and it doesn't sound, Lee, it doesn't sound like you're right up to date on what this is about and why it's about. And my general feeling is if you've got a business that you're running and you can't drink the water in the business because there's something wrong with the water, you probably ought to be fixing the water.
Well,
But I don't know that.
That would appear to be the obvious course, and I do not know whether or not there is a state or local agency who is demanding that to be done. However, if the Board of Health was to agree to the terms of bottled water for the purposes of circumventing that order, I mean, it just seems like there's data that we are not being privy to.
what's the address of these facilities?
The one that's involved right now, at least this letter, says it's 55 Taylor Street.
So that's Marfran's.
That's correct.
Okay, that's Marfran's. Okay. All right, that's the daycare at Marfran's.
Is that a rental or is it owned by this company?
We don't know. My suggestion is that we say we would like to know what is the plan that you're talking about? What are the elements? Why are you doing this? And to explain to us the background and the details, and I just don't know what it is that we're being asked?
Yeah,
or
what we
why
could
we're
do,
being-
Dick, we could give him a limited time permit to use bottled water, provided he hire an engineer, submit a plan for a well system to be installed by such and such a date.
But we don't really know if that's what the problem is, Bill. I don't know that it's a piping problem and the water is fine. I don't know anything about it.
Well, that's right. Well, he's gonna hire someone to investigate this.
Yeah,
Does DEP set the, standards for, the water systems at these places? In other words, does DEP say what is or what is not a public water supply location?
well, it does
Yeah,
it does
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's, I think on Mass GIS or Mass Mapper, they call it now. I think all the public water supplies are on a layer on Mass Mapper, so they should be delineated town-wide on Mass Mapper.
Yeah, but it's based on 25 people per day per so many days a year.
For 30 days a year, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
either 30 or 60 days
Yeah.
a year. That's right. That's right.
One of the very basic questions that when I look at comparing two things and say, why is it that we're not dealing with the same thing at Children First? And say,
Do we know what the contaminants are, Dick? Do you have
we don't
any
know.
idea?
That's what I'm saying, Bill. We don't know.
We know
don't
nothing,
know.
though.
And so we're not going to make just as much as we couldn't even figure out. I shouldn't say couldn't even. We said we couldn't knowledgeably decide what the fee should be for a tobacco selling organization. We're asking for to give permission to do something that's undefined for an undefined reason. And we shouldn't do that. We should be smarter than that. So we should understand what is the problem we're working on, what is the potential or what are the solutions, and why is it that they want us to do that?
Yeah, I would agree 100% that the board, in my small opinion, should err on the side of caution until the facts are brought into the light of day. We might be getting played on this in some capacity. Maybe not, but there's something that doesn't make any sense at all here.
Right. Right. So Colleen, if you can let her know that we
Okay.
want to understand what the problem is, what the
Mhm.
options are, why we're being asked to do something, what it is that we're being asked to do.
Yes, I will ask her. I mean, I guess she
And if
wanted
it's
to
a,
continue
if it's a
using the,
rental,
sorry.
and pardon me, Carlene, if it's a rental, then I'm guessing that there's something else wrong, because she wouldn't be asking for it to be fixed. She'd be demanding it to be fixed by the landlord.
Yeah.
Something is off here.
And that's what we're gonna have to find out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll call her. I'll talk to her, see what's going
See
on.
what's
with the whole-
Yeah, see what's going on, report
See what's
back to
going on.
us.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
Yep.
we'll make up our mind.
yep.
The next one we have, we've got two of them that fit together. And these are permit extensions and their septic system installation permits on lot 6 Bachelor Street and 67 South Street. But now what we have on both sites, and I'm grouping them right now to make it, to see if it's easy for us to handle it joined together. The two situations seem so close that the discussion maybe is. So in one case, I did go to 67 South Street. And we have in both situations are close, is that there's a perk test that has run out, the 4 years has run out on both lots. That both lots had a septic system installation permit approved. Both lots had their different timing. Both lots had the 3 years run out before the system were in fact, before they were started to be installed. Both owners did not ask for the extension before the permit ran out.
Is that you?
Both owners, the South Street one's a little different than the Bachelor Street one, in that the South Street one already has the house very much constructed and they're ready to install the system. The one on South Street, the people would like to be in and living in the house before Christmas. The one on Bachelor Street, the one on South Street looks like the permit ran out. Colleen, you can help me, but let's say it ran out in June.
It ran out in June. Yeah, the
in
67
June.
South ran out in June. Yeah.
Okay. The one on Bachelor Street, lot 6, just ran out.
Just ran out. Yeah.
Just ran out. Let's say it's the end of October.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
it was maybe October 20th. So it just ran out.
27th. Yep. Mhm.
27th. So that one, the system hasn't, or the house hasn't been put in. The lot, however, has been prepared to have the house be put in. And what we've got is both owners saying they would like to finish the installation of the septic system this year. So on the case, I'm gonna just throw this out and let everybody else, Lee and Bill, you can go. So we've got a regulation that says the system's supposed to be well in construction and the owner is supposed to ask for a 1-year extension before the permit runs out. And the Board of Health could extend the permit for a year, but the meaning that it has to be completed, the system be completed before the end of the year. I did talk to the engineer involved on South Street. And the engineer said, you know, you guys are dealing with something that's very, very unusual. That the permit was issued at a time when COVID was stopping things from being able to move properly. And then you moved into a spot that materials were not available, both from a physical, not available to do the work, and pricing crazy. But the engineer said, but you couldn't even get a septic tank for a while. So that engineer said, you know, being this close, you ought to, his view was you ought to just let it happen. In my case, I looked at it and said, here's this person or owner that I was standing with and said, if in June, that person would have said, could you please let me finish? But I'm not going to finish until the end of the year. We would have said, of course, we'll let you do that. But the person didn't know they're supposed to ask that question. But the bottom line from the Board of Health standpoint, we would have said yes. So we're at a point now that we're saying, because you didn't ask, we're going to say no. The study says to say no. And you look at the intent of the law, the intent of this ruling was to let people who are working in good faith finish up the project and get this thing done. So that there, on both cases, there are options. There are options that don't fit the desires of both of these people. The option is that since the perk test is run out, they would have to do depots during March and April, which would get them to then the perk test to be and or whatever we want to call it. And they would have to apply for a new permit, resubmit the design over again. But they wouldn't be able to work on it until at least March. So my feeling is these are two very unique cases that we've seen. We've had a couple times where we've said to people, we're not going to extend the extra year, because they haven't started. They weren't going to complete the system in the extra year anyways. And we said, and they weren't anywhere near working on the system. So I will open the floor. My feeling is that both of these are perfect cases where the Board of Health should be looking at the intent of this regulation and telling both of these people, yes, you must finish, you must do what you said you were going to do. You said you want the extension to finish it this year, that we give them the extension to finish it, let them do it. Lee and Bill, go ahead. I'm done talking.
Lot 6 on Bachelor Street, adjacent to the one that Paul just got approved earlier tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any activity? Is the house being framed, or anything that's going on down there?
They definitely have done a lot of clearing. Colleen told me that they are ready to break ground with the septic system.
Yeah, so COVID kind of put a wrench in everything. And we are, our expectation is to build within this next year. We do have our finalized house plans. And I think we're going to be putting the septic in before the end of December is our expectation. So.
When I talked to Colleen about this one, that I thought that the owner would maybe be saying, with that horrible place to be working, Lee, as you said on lot 5, lot 6 is essentially the same thing. That with the amount of rock that's going to be ripped, that they in fact would be better off saying, let's just dig the 2 holes, and if we have to pay the extra $200 for the to refile a permit, that they would be better off from the building standpoint to not wreck the septic system. That at the owner's choice would be to do it that way, to actually follow the regulations that are there. However, from my feeling was that the situation is, as we just heard, that someone says, I really want to put this in the next month. That I would say, if you want to do it, but that's probably going to be cause all sorts of grief trying to stop machinery from going over that nice fancy system that you're putting in right at the edge of your house. But
Dick, I've got a question.
Near the edge of your house.
I don't think, just from the plans that I'm looking at, it looks like, I don't know, the house is gonna be at least a good, what do you think, 200-300 feet from?
Yeah.
Over 300 feet.
Dick, I've got a comment.
Over 300
ahead.
feet.
Now, the regulation states that the owner has to ask or should have asked prior to the permit running out for an extension, correct?
that's correct.
Okay, I was on site, Tom, I was on site with you and Ashley on behalf of conservation earlier this year, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and Tom advised me that he was concerned that the system was gonna run out, Dick. So I can testify that he actually asked me that question earlier this year.
Then why didn't they do something?
All right, well,
I will
Well-
say that I was actually unaware that we had to go and renew it before it expired. I did not know that.
you know, the point is with this COVID, we lost essentially 1 year with COVID. So there's like a 1 year hiatus. So I don't see any problem with extending either of these two systems, both South Street and Bachelor Street, in lieu of the fact that COVID was a tripping point for everybody on this. So again, I have no problem with granting an extension on either of these projects.
Lee, what
I-
is your
I-
thought?
I agree in principle. However, that being said, we need to discuss the length of the extension.
It can only be 1 year. That part. The
I
way
would
that,
say, Tom, are you intending on getting this in before the end of the year?
Yes, yes. I was planning on getting it done probably in October, early November, and I've got this EPA job out in East Brookfield, and it's like a $3 million job, and it's
Yeah,
it started out it was 2.5, and even today they came up and they had a meeting with the DEP and the EPA and all that, and they've got additional funding, and they want me to put in another couple thousand feet of pipe. But even with that, I could be there maybe right after Thanksgiving.
well, now,
Who's gonna do the integration?
Dick, South Street, that's Celebrity Builders, that's Slozak from Ludlow, right?
I'm
And he
not
likes to move.
sure. I think we should be clear. There were, I talked to, if we want to be in the clear, saying we're going to follow the regulations, we actually could go in a spot. I talked to Alan Weiss about it. He didn't like the idea, but I said he could actually just send us a letter and ask for a variance to that regulation, which says that the person had to have started it and they had to have asked beforehand. And it just said, I'd like to file a variance for that. I'd like to request a 1 year extension with the variance saying they didn't ask and they didn't realize it. COVID impacted it. So they didn't ask and they didn't start in this case. And in fact, in both cases, just say they didn't start it because this thing, but it's the projects are actively going. And then we just sign the variance and then we're completely within the regulations.
That's another way of doing it. That's fine too.
And then we don't have
so-
to, no one can say to us that we've acted in an arbitrary way or we've broken the regulations, because it clearly says this in Title V. And we could do that tonight. We could do it and say, we're approving this, provided that in the next 2 weeks, you get us the request for the variance, but they can continue on their project. And what it does, if we give both of them a grant the 1-year variance on South Street, their variance is going to run out in June, but they want their system done and they want to be in the house by Christmas. So that
Right.
absolutely meets what they're looking for. And in this case, with you people, if you say, you know what, I've got until next October, and I can build the house the way I want to build the house, because you've got the whole year, you've got to work with, and then you can manage your project the way you want to manage your project. And if you want to put it,
One
if they want to put it in November, they can put it in November. That's what
Sure.
I would do.
Do we have, on both sites, do we have someone with an approved installer's license doing the jobs? Are they lined up? I'm guessing on South Street they are.
I don't know that. I don't know that about either one.
Okay. So that's important,
No, I'm
especially
licensed.
way important
I'm licensed.
on Bachelor Street due to the location limitations.
Yeah.
Somebody's
that's
been
where
going
if
there
we-
that
if-
got it together.
Lee, if we grant a 1-year extension,
Yeah,
then
Yeah.
My father's licensed.
I have my license.
Yeah,
Now,
you just got it renewed.
Me?
You just got it renewed?
I don't think so.
No, I think it's good to, the, end of the year, January
Yeah,
first.
that's what I mean. You need an installer's license every year in this town.
Right.
But I think
So-
if we do this thing, if we say, okay, we are granting the 1-year extension on both of these cases and tell them they both have to, they can start with their, their, whatever their process is, but just tell them
Yeah.
before the next meeting, they have to get from their engineer the request for the variance into
Yeah.
us. And then they've got, in this case, they've got until next October to get the thing done and lined up. And these other people can get it done and we just grant the 1-year extension with the variance and everything's above board and everybody can do what they want.
okay, I will definitely support that.
Bill, what is your thought?
Yeah, no, that's good. So we'll just cite the appropriate 310 CMR 15 point whatever it is and grant the variance. We have the power to do that.
And then we're not
Yeah.
arbitrary and capricious, or it's just, and we followed the rules and no one can come back and say, hey, you did it with these guys. And we said, we followed the procedure. Absolutely, that's available to us.
Yeah,
Okay, so they each need a letter from their engineer, each property. Okay,
With a request
Right.
for a variance, and the variance has to be a variance saying the system hadn't been started and they didn't ask before their permit expired.
okay,
And hopefully the engineer's saying, I'm requesting that because of COVID and their projects were actually started. It's just the system wasn't started. So they base it on COVID. They could do it on availability of materials and state that the project is started, but just not the septic system. And they just request that
Right.
for a variance from us and we grant it and they're off and running.
okay. Okay. Okay.
And then we don't have to, on Bachelor Street, you guys can run the project the way you want to run it. Look at how that's going to affect where you're bringing equipment and whatever it is. You just run it. We're not the people running the project. You are. What we've just done is give you time.
Time is good, thank you.
But it
God
does
bless you.
mean, it does mean that you need to get it done with this thing. It needs to be completed by next year.
Oh, I'll probably go insane if it's not, so
Okay.
that's the
No,
intent.
but it's also, it's very important that in 14 days, that paperwork's in our office.
Repeat that again, I'm sorry.
In 14 days or less, work needs to be addressed and filed in our office.
Oh, the request for variance?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's no problem.
leeway on it. It's gotta be a go on this thing.
Gotcha. That is not a problem at
All
all.
right. All right, thank you.
So if that works for everybody, then that's good. It turns out the way it should.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks,
Good. Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Thank
good
you.
night.
and
Good
thanks,
luck with
Colleen.
the frogs.
You're welcome.
Did you say with
Thanks.
the frogs, Lee, or the frost?
Oh, the
I think
frogs.
it was a frog.
Well, that pond's gonna be
But,
frozen in
that
2
was,
days, so
Yeah.
let's not
Yeah,
worry
well,
about
that-
that.
That was, I thought that was really an excellent suggestion of, how to alleviate this,
Yeah, it was a good approach, Dick.
misstep on the timing.
Yeah.
Very well done, thank you.
Okay, so it's gonna keep us out of trouble, that's for sure. It lets those people
Well,
get,
that's the whole point.
it's treating them the way they should be treated in a way that follows the regulations. It's what the benefit of having us working with regulations long enough to be able to use our knowledge to help people get their work done.
Nowadays, Dick, the local board can vary nearly every regulation in the book. In the olden days, this would have to go to DEP.
I know,
Thank goodness not.
yeah, so this will get done.
Yep, good.
So the next one. Oh, what's happening? We've got the Dollar General 4 bays. Our friend Title V and what we want for additional requirements. Ale and O. We do have one that's hanging over that. The one on Ken Lane is
Oh, yeah.
is still a problem. I went there again. We've had the owner saying there's no problem there, but there is a problem. That if you look at that house is, well, it's got two problems. My suggestion is that Colleen get in touch with the building inspector. I think it's dangerous for people to be living in that house. If you go there, the ridge pole has a sag that I'm guessing it looks like the house is maybe I don't think it's a 30-foot house, maybe 24, 28-foot house. And I would guess there's more than a foot sag in the ridge pole, the ridge beam. And on the front of the house, they've got 4 2x4s that look to be jammed into the ground, stuffed up about corners on trim pieces, stopping the outside wall from falling out.
Oh, boy.
And I'm concerned that it's bigger than a septic system problem there. And that someone's gonna get really hurt.
What's the number of the home, Dick? What number, Ken? Is it 12, Ken?
Colleen, you might know what that one is.
Um,
I don't see it. It may be 14.
Yeah, it's either 12 or 14.
It's the
Okay.
last one on the right. Once you get down to the end of the street,
Yeah.
there's a house
Yeah,
going
Yeah,
across.
it's not what's her name at the end. No, okay, I know which
Oh.
one it is then. Yeah, call Tom Quinlan. Ask Tom Quinlan to take a look at it.
Yeah, could you do that, Colleen, and see what,
It's the last one on the right, you said.
that's
Okay.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I can talk to him.
And let's see, that it may be that, you know, we're worrying about the septic system when there's a much bigger problem that's in front
Yeah.
of us.
Did you want to
Uh,
talk about the December 5th meeting?
Oh,
Dick?
we need to do that. So I am going to be gone. We're leaving the 22nd, which is Wednesday. Our next meeting is the 21st. I'm gone from Wednesday, the 22nd, and we get back Wednesday, the December 6th. And we've got a meeting scheduled for the 5th.
The 5th, yeah.
What do we want to do on that meeting?
Don't everyone volunteer information at once.
So that we're gonna be in a spot. Let's look if I can dig out
Why
my
don't,
book.
why don't we all go to St. Martin and meet down there?
Yeah,
I'll go for
I would
that
do it.
one.
I'm afraid of the whole internet down there. I don't do very well with it there. But so if we look back on this thing, we've got, as I look at December, that with the 26th that's on a Wednesday. Oh, the 26th is a Tuesday. So that's the day after Christmas. I'm just trying to see what we want to do for the Christmas New Year week. So at this point, we would be meeting on the 5th and the 19th. Now, and we could move it to I'm trying to think of where the next jump, I'm guessing we're gonna skip some time in here. Well, if you look, the Monday is New Year's. So at this point, we would be going the 5th, the 19th, and the 2nd. Do we? You could just meet without me. You can do that. The other is you could move it to the 12th and take the whole month off and meet again on the 9th.
January 9th?
Yeah, you could move the meeting from the 5th to the 12th. And then skip Christmas, New Year's, and come back either on the 2nd or so it would be, what did I say, the 5th to the 19th, the 2nd?
Yeah.
Do we,
Conservation meets on the 9th, Dick.
well, then do you want to do it on the 12th and meet on the 2nd? The 2nd would get us back onto our rotation, right? Because
Yeah.
we're the
Yeah.
5th,
Yeah.
the 19th,
Mhm.
the 2nd. So if
January
we,
2nd would be fine.
so let's do the 12th. We'll move the week, the meeting we were gonna have on Tuesday, the 5th, we'll move to Tuesday, the 12th. And then we won't meet again until the 2nd.
Okay,
So
Okay.
the only change will be, we'll move the 5th to the 12th. And then by the 2nd, we'll be back on our normal schedule.
Okay,
Should be fine.
Okay,
okay.
so that's what I'll do. So the
Alright.
Dick,
12th,
do you have two more guests here tonight?
Oh,
uh,
Peter LaBarbera.
Well,
If you're
Well,
gonna talk to Peter, I'm gonna recuse myself anyway, so I'm gonna close down for the evening then.
well, I don't think we should talk to Peter because we're bypassing what's very important to us is to use the design review concept. And I have not done work with Peter at all on this system. Peter is bringing, from the note that I saw, is trying to bring the design review to this meeting. And for 5 years now, we've stopped that from happening.
Yeah, we used to do that years ago. Remember with Bob Sheehan? We'd do it in the little room at the old
Yeah,
Kellogg
and
Hall.
it goes on forever and it doesn't get done properly.
Right.
So the way we handle it is that if people, on the very few things that people can't get settled with me, then it does. If it's a board decision, it comes to the board. But after the design review process is played out, if you can't believe how much time we save by having Paul work with me on that lot 5, it would have been disaster trying to work that through at a board meeting.
Right, and yeah, doing it live would be a lot.
So I'm not sure what we have that if we've got other stuff to do, I see now is Doug Frechette is the same as,
That's the owner of the property that,
yeah.
Yeah.
So my feeling is we need to work out what the design issues are and you're so Bill, you're gonna get out.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna clear out anyway.
and I'm not gonna, and I'm just not prepared to do it. I'm not gonna start this at 9 o'clock tonight.
Okay. So we're gonna adjourn?
We're gonna adjourn.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, everybody,
All right.
and
Thank
So I'll-
you, folks.
we'll
Okay,
see
thank you,
in 2
everybody.
weeks. Okay.